Welcome back students to the chapter Control and Coordination. In this video we are just going to discuss about control and coordination in plants. Our body is made up of millions of cells that get organized into different tissues. Different tissue constitute organs and different organs constitute systems such as digestive, respiratory and circulatory system. In order to perform a particular function, the component organs of each system depend on each other and work in harmony. In the absence of such working in harmony, an organism cannot do many things that it normally does. All these activities are coordinated and well organized. Working together of various systems in the body is called coordination. In animals, control and coordination involves nervous system and endocrine system. Plants don't have nervous system. Plants' responses are in the form of growth movements or movements caused due to swelling of cells. The ability of an organism to detect changes and make appropriate response is called sensitivity. Anything to which an organism responds and reacts is called a stimulus. Reaction to stimulus is response. In animals, responses are quicker and more obvious. Unicellular animals respond to stimulus either by moving towards them or away from them. In multicellular animals, the response occurs within seconds through a complex network of communications. Now moving to plant movements. Plant movements are of two types: directional movements and non-directional movements. Directional movements are growth-related movements. They are called tropic movements. They can be negative tropic movements or positive tropic movements. Non-directional movements are non-growth related and are called nastic movements. Now let us see the flow chart regarding plant movements. So plant movements are divided into directional and non-directional. Directional movement is also known as tropism or tropic movement, and non-directional is nastic movement. So there are two types of tropism, positive and negative. In the case of nastic movement, they are growth independent and these movements are directed neither towards nor away from the stimulus. Now first we will be talking about nastic movements. These movements are independent of stimulus. They are non-growth movements. Example, in mimosa plant, it is touch me not plant. The leaflets fold up quickly if any leaflet is touched. It happens because the touch triggers a sudden and rapid loss of water from cells at the base of the leaflets. Cells shrink and the leaflet folds. Second example, when darkness falls, the leaves fold up. Third example, flowers open after sunrise and closes after sunset. So here are some pictures which shows nastic movements. You can see mimosa plant in the normal position and when the leaflets are folded. Next you can see the flower open and closed position and the leaves in the dark which is closed or folded. Now moving to tropic movements. Movement of an organism in the direction of a stimulus or away from it is called tropic movement or tropism. A tropic movement is said to be positive if it is directed towards the source of stimulus and negative if directed away from the stimulus. It is related to growth and response is very slow. Now types of tropic movement. Tropic movements are of different types. Types are of depending on the stimulus. Phototropism, the stimulus is light. Geotropism, stimulus is gravity. Hydrotropism, water. Chemotropism, chemicals, and thigmotropism, touch. First we will discuss about phototropism. It is a tropic response of an organism to light. Stem grows towards light, so they are positively phototrophic. Root grows away from light, so they are negatively phototropic. So two examples are given here. Stem bends towards light and sunflower buds turn slowly through the day so that they always face the sun. So here I have shown some pictures related to phototropism where you can see that stem is bending towards light. Now moving on to geotropism. Geotropism is a trophic response of an organism to gravity. Stem tip moves away from pull of gravity, so it is negatively geotropic, while root tips moves towards gravity, so it is positively geotropic. Now here is a picture showing negative geotropism and positive geotropism. Roots are positively geotropic. Now next is hydrotropism. Growth of plant parts towards or away from water is called hydrotropism. Roots are positive hydrotrophic. They grow towards water. Next is chemotropism. The tropic response of an organism to chemicals. Example, pollen tubes grow towards a chemical produced by the ovule during fertilization. About this you will be studying in chapter reproduction. Now next is stigmotropism. The tropic response of an organism to touch or contact with solid surface is called stigmotropism. Example, climbing part of a plant that twine around a support are positively stigmotropic. Tendrils coil around a support. This is also an example for stigmotropism. So here I have shown you pictures related to stigmotropism. So when a plant come in contact with the solid surface, that is example climbers, they start twining around it. Now about plant hormones. Response and growth in plants are controlled by chemicals called plant hormones. They are also known as phytohormones. Plant hormones are signal molecules. They are found in minute quantities. They are produced in specific cells and then transported to other parts. They influence a specific physiological process. Plant hormones are of different types. Example, auxin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, ethylene, gibberellins, etc. First we will discuss about auxins. Auxins are synthesized in the apical meristem. Hope you remember about apical meristem, you studied in class 9 standard. Apical meristem of root and shoot tips, auxins are produced. When shoot tip receives light, hormone auxin is synthesized and diffuses towards the shady part of the shoot. This you can see in the diagram. So when light is there, auxins are produced and auxin will move to that part of the plant where shade is there. This leads to the enhanced growth of the other side. Thus plant bends towards light. Here is another diagram showing the movement of auxin. So in this diagram you can see the direction of light. Auxins move away from light. So in the shaded portion you can see more auxin. That region will grow or elongate more. So in this way auxin helps in stem elongation and the stem grows towards light. So first important function of auxin is cell elongation. Next is root formation. It also helps in cell division and respiration. Now moving to the next hormone, gibberellins. Its function is stimulate cell elongation, seed germination and flowering. So here you can see one diagram where when it is not there, less flowers are produced, the size of the fruit increases when this hormone is there, and even the size of the fruit and the amount of fruit also increases. So this is the effect of this hormones. So maximum concentration is found in fruits and seeds. Now moving to cytokinin. Cytokinin is a hormone which is promoting cell division or cytokinesis. It also helps in breaking seed dormancy, and this hormone is mostly found in dividing cells. Now next is abscisic acid. Function is, it is a growth inhibitor, that is it prevents growth. It causes seed dormancy, does not allow seed to germinate. It promotes leaf and fruit fall. It helps in closure of stomata to decrease the loss of water. So these are the functions of abscisic acid. It is a growth inhibitor and it helps to make seed dormant, prevents germination, and it also helps in leaf and fruit fall. Now moving on to the last hormone, ethylene. Ethylene is a gas. It is used for color development and it also helps in ripening of fruit. So in this diagram I have seen one group of tomatoes with ethylene and without. In without, the green color is there. With ethylene you can see how the color has changed. So it helps in changing of color and also in ripening of fruits. Here we come to the end of this video. In the next video, we will be talking about nervous system. Thank you for watching.